Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're excited to have you join us for this roundtable discussion. Unlocking new age digital platforms and ventures with generative AI. I'm Rajesh, and I'm here with my co host, Biddappa, another AI enthusiast. Um, as we know, we interact with a lot of digital platforms on a day-to-day basis, and they've been part of our life in the past few many years. Uh, they've become an undeniable force, transforming the way we work, socialize, um, create economic value, connect with information, entertainment, services, and even with loved ones. Uh, with users kind of spending several hours on a day-to-day basis on these platforms, both for personal use and the professional use, it's clear that they're going to change and they're going to evolve. Um, and that's where generative AI plays a key role. Generative AI, with its ability to create entirely new online experience, is kind of playing a key role in this exciting transformation. And with the recent developments and advancements like Google, Google's Project Astra, the future AI assistant, and OpenAI's GPT-4o are just the beginning. And we'll have to wait and see how it really impacts all of these platforms. Um, let's hear from our esteemed panelists on how GenAI is redefining digital experiences, from personalization to content delivery. We'll explore both the potential and the challenges it brings to these platforms. Um, Without wasting much time, let me invite my co-host Biddappa to get this started.
Yeah, thank you, Rajesh, for setting up the context. Indeed, it's a great opportunity for me to co-host and facilitate the discussion, where we have esteemed thought leaders who are pioneers in their respective fields, and they are here to enrich our dialogue with their expertise and wisdom. First of all, allow me to introduce our panelists. We have Biju from SAP India, Yatish from Airtel Digital, Saurabh from IBM, and Kartik from Lazypay. Together, these esteemed panelists bring diverse viewpoints to this discussion, each grounded in their unique expertise. So, without further delay, please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists and let's kickstart the discussion. Yeah. So I'll start from basic, and then we can, diversify the questions and get into the details. So, my first question is for Biju and Yatish. So, what are the defining characteristics of new age digital platforms, and how do they differ from traditional digital platforms?
Okay, maybe I can start. Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to start with a disclaimer that all the thoughts and opinions shared by me in this forum are my personal opinion. It doesn't represent my organization. Coming back to the question, overall, the defining characteristics of new age platforms reflect a shift more towards a dynamic, user-centric, and personalized online experience today. Yeah, as we all know, now we see the infusion of AI, specifically Gen AI, by all partners involved. For example, if you take learning platforms, you'll be able to see LLM-based knowledge management, which aggregate information from various data sources. So with the infusion of AI, learning could be customized to the needs of each individual. So advanced level of personalization is happening in this field. Another development is more about the user generated content and its reusage. So the platform ensures the user participation, then encourage users to contribute more. So there is a sense of community engagement there. We can also see a lot of data-driven insights. A lot of data is collected, analyzed. Deeper insights are drawn to into the user behavior, preferences, and the trends. So this data is used for optimizing more personalized experiences. So maybe the the final point that I want to touch upon is on the hyperconnectivity on this platform. So they leverage the power of IoTs and big data. So it creates more interconnect experience. So it's like, imagine a fitness tracker that seamlessly integrated with nutrition apps, or a smart device that work in concert with a streaming device. So hyperconnectivity is one of the main characteristics of Innovate's platform. So these are some of the characteristics. There are several more, but then probably my esteemed colleagues could continue with the discussion on that.
Sure, I think thanks, Biju. Thanks for the points. So I would like to add, I concur with Biju. So all the points, whatever he has said. So I'll add a couple of more points to it, what I have seen in my experience. So one is on the adoption of data-centric designs in building digital platforms, right? So traditionally, it was more about UI, UX, and things like that. But in new age digital platforms, more and more data driven designs have been implemented using data. How's the user journey going on? Even if the feature is very important, how do we kind of move that feature, where how the customer actually navigates in a digital platform, right? So data centric is one of the very important change which is happening in the new age. The second one is on the monetization strategies, right? So in today's world, traditionally, usually digital platform monetizes using a subscription or an advertising. So today, there is a lot of other strategies which has come along apart from subscription and advertisement, right? So one of them is hybridization, where you get a premiumization of a digital platform with certain ads as well, right? So you get a lesser premium fees for that. So you have in premium only, there is a hybrid concept of give premium subscription with ads, right? So that is a kind of hybrid mechanisms which is coming. And there is another monetization strategy which is called freemium, right? It's a new concept in digital world, where any product which now it is getting built is offered completely free to the customer. And if he likes certain premiumization on the features, he will be kind of charged. So freemium is something, one of the new strategies which is being adopted in a lot of new digital products. So these two things I would like to add, and yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Yatish, before we get to the next question, one follow-up question on this one.
Yeah.
The freemium part, is it ad inclusive or is it ad exclusive?
So it depends on again, it depends to product, right? Generic, it depends on the strategy of that particular product. So there are products where they give free with certain ads, but there are also products which give completely free, so that your top of the funnel increases vastly with a higher experience. And then once you have a better content, right? Suppose say, if I talk about a content as a platform, to accessing a better content, you may have to be charged.
Got
So freemium can be with ads, without cannot be also with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, thanks, Yatish and Biju. That was a fantastic overview, and I could learn a few new pointers from there. And it really sets the stage for our discussion. With this great context, I have one question for Saurabh and Kartik. How do you foresee the evolution of digital platforms and ventures in the coming few months and years? Considering the adoption of GenAI and the kind of hype that it is bringing into the market, along with a lot of emerging technologies. So we would be keen to hear more about that.
Yeah. So Rajesh, I bring platform view. It. I work for IBM, and we develop a GenAI platform for our client, so that they can develop digital platform and infuse Gen AI for their the profitability. So the way I see it, I think I see that evolution into three stages. One is one is integration, second is interface, and third is interconnected. So in the first one, whenever the new technology comes, it's just all about how do I integrate within my application and can drive one KPI or another KPI. This KPI can be your productivity gain, your customer experience, or anything. So this is the first thing we do, and this is what we are seeing in what you call in Gen AI. Everybody is trying to integrate that. The second one is going to be the one for the digital platform is kind of it's more of an interface, because this Gen AI technology is more closer to human. It talks in text, it has the visual understanding, it understands the video and creates the video on its own. So it is very closer to the way we see. And also the way the human brain interface, which is actually kind of Neuralink kind of organization which are doing, I think they're going to make these applications disappear the way it exists. So the second phase is going to be the interface is not going to be the way click or app is going to be. So that is going to be the second, the disappearance of it, and it's going to meld into in our more senses. And third is going to be the whole backend transformation, where they will be more like an interconnected connected models which are working together as a network one. So basically, this is going to be the front end transformation to the back end transformation, and the whole company will work like a model or will work along with the model. In today's world, I think we are calling agentic way of working, but I think it's going to evolve into that whole organization the whole organization going to be. So from the integration to interface to interconnected platform, that's going to be the future for it, I see.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Thanks, Saurabh. On a lighter note, I think at the pace at which this space is evolving, any prediction would be an underestimation, man. So you have immense capabilities. It's exciting to see what future unfolds. But to answer your question in particular, let's take if I take a structured approach to it, if I take a step back and see, hey, what are we trying to achieve, right? For long, I think our holy grail has been to replicate human intelligence, interactions, and decision making. And two, we wanted to do it at a scale and efficiency. I think one simple way I see it is this Gen A is kind of cut down that journey to a much shorter time period. Actually, it's the pace at which now we would be able to accomplish would just be faster. I don't know how much it could be, like half to, but I think it's much faster. So if you take a step back and see, I know we started this conversation with your traditional and digital businesses. You go further back and compare between traditional businesses and digital businesses. The fundamental rockstone of a traditional business has been what? Human touch. It offered high level of customization because you had a human sitting there understanding customer queries, contextualizing them, and then kind of navigating through the conversion in a safe way. So that's more of a relationship based. But the downside of it was obviously huge dependency on people and the coordination. And you could think of typical, let's say, simple example of you making a purchase a T-shirt and a mart, right? But you going and to pay, you have to stand in queues per se, right? So there's always friction at each step because there's a lot of coordination which is required to pull this through. Now comes the digital business, which was able to automate, in my mind, this physical, manual, and repetitive work and created product flows where it made seamless, right? It's 24/7, no human dependency, much rather than saying no, probably automated to a large extent, seamless and 24/7 available per se. But as with any system, so one downside, I won't say downside, one area where it would lack with your traditional would be that human touch. And that human touch is difficult because of the contextualization of the text and personalization. A simple thing like a language, for example, right? You could design a system in a particular language, but to change the system depending on what language customer speaks has been very tough, right? And this is where the cap builders have been evolving. And the way I see it is Gen AI is the one thing now finally which brings together this thing, both the decision making, personalization, and the coordination, right? And will be able to do it at scale. So now if I had to say which industries would be impacted and what would happen, and precisely those industries which have been knowledge based, right, obviously would be impacted because we have automated the manual repetitive thing, but the industry which would be impacted would be the knowledge based industry. It could mean the tech, right? But the upside, if you see, right? So one of the challenges for tech industry always has been the entry barrier, right? So when I say entry barrier, like you go to company, you say, hey, I want to bring in this new tech. People will say, hey, this is my legacy system. It takes a lot of investment now to go back, a lot of coding effort and all those things. And some of those barriers would be lowered now because you had this GenAI now, which could convert the codes in a much faster way, right? Or you talk about a global company, for example, right? I know Amazon and all have done a fantastic job in operating countries, but you think of SMBs sitting in some corner, but not able to kind of talk to other country pieces just because of a language barrier, right? So you could now have systems which just converts on fly and enable that interaction per se, right? And on the whole, I also see there's a bit of rebundling which will come back, because so far in the digital business model, we are able to unbundle, go deep, create those manual flows, and take that manual flows into a seamless digital flows. But rebundling would also mean that all these things, the coordination happening seamlessly via this Gen AI robots, right? I think the favorite example for most people would have been travel, right? Because we all travel, and you see number of things which are involved in travel, right? Right from preparing the itinerary to booking tickets, booking hotels, and then kind of finally making the travel. There are a number of things, and you could have things simply automated through your GenAI, because now GenAI could actually talk to you, interact with you, and customize these things based on your need, and then subsequently follow with other flows. So that is where I see the changes could be coming in. All in all, the good news would be the technology will be adapted much faster, which would only mean more innovation on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you kind of mentioned about travel, that's when I remember about this new thing came out from Expedia. They have introduced a new virtual assistant with who kind of
Yes.
helps the consumer to make their travel planning easier. I think very recently they released it. Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it would, yeah. So otherwise, you would have gone to what TripAdvisor,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
search for hours to say, hey, what itinerary works and what. And there's a lot of intelligence out there. But then there's other thing is, hey, if I had to change this, what would you suggest, sort of thing, right? So there's a bit of long drawn process out there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So a bit of I kind of intercepted.
No issues. Thank you, Saurabh, Kartik. I think thanks for sharing some of the great opportunities that we can, work in terms of Gen AI. I really like the two key points, right? The agent view and scale. Scale, and Kartik, you mentioned the kind of challenges also in terms of scale, adoption, stuff, right? So now I think it's a right time for me to kind of, talk about the application side of things, so that the audience can resonate with the influence of Gen AI on digital platforms. So my follow-up question for Saurabh and Yatish is, with advancement in deep learning and Gen AI, right? So what are some of the key use cases that organization are developing or strategizing to enhance digital platforms? Your thought would be really helpful.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to be speaking more from the platform point of view. So okay. So in our client space, we basically see three type of predominant use cases which are actually flowing. So the most of the client, I think, are the first thing they're trying to do is trying to develop the agent, assistant, co-pilot kind of thing. So HR assistant, financial assistant, BI assistant, every product of ours, we are building the assistant in our. So all the digital platform, whether we are more of a SaaS, but anything, assistant is the way the people will interact with your system, rather than those buttons, those tables. None. I think it's going to be agent. You will do the prompt, or they will sense it. So I think that is the one. Assistant is the first use case I think everybody is implementing, and that's a business which is thriving across the time. Second thing is, earlier we used to do, like, if I need to read some document, if I need to do assistance, know about this thing. So digital platform used to give me a link, give me a document, read this, read that kind of thing. I think that is going to go away. And I think the second place where we are actually seeing the changes is the enterprise knowledge. So You don't need to go for a link or document. That information from wherever it is can get summarized to your context and going to be presented in the problem of wherever you are. So that is going to be the enterprise knowledge, which is getting changed completely. No search, no link, no document. So that is the second type of use cases which we are seeing. And third, I think what I see is these digital platform will turn out to be like more like not an agent, but like a buddy who understand me emotionally, personally, and they know me before I even actually think about it. So this is the third use cases I think we are seeing. I think people trying to build that emotion quotient into these assistant and all these mechanism to build out this thing, so that the user don't need to think or give a long prompt to get the work done. So there are three key places I think we are seeing. I think the digital platform are changing themselves for better.
Okay, from in the sense, I completely concur with Saurabh on the platform view. There are a lot of use cases on the LLMs, NLP, especially on the assistant domain, right? Uh, if I give a couple of more use cases, what I have seen personally in the digital industry is one is personalization. So in traditional, so personalization and recommendations have been like very legacy applications now, right? So nowadays, what I also say is usually personalizations happens through metadata. Like for example, if I take an example of a video personalization, right? So usually it used to happen with the metadata and things like that. Now it is going into the next step where you get the features from the video itself, right? With the evolution of deep learning and GenAI, how do we kind of extract the features from the content itself and do personalization based on the recommendation engines? So that is one of the use cases I have come across in the digital platforms. The second one I would like to add is mainly on the so you have something like so in the personalization only we have something on so the features are extracted from the particular content and then given. There are so many other use cases in LLMs where customer centric applications are built, right? Like for example, a chat bot which is going to kind of help the customer in a faster way. So apart from assistant as well, there are a lot of customer centric chatbots also coming up to kind of increase the productivity, also increase the experience of customers.
Session. I think we're almost in the end of the session. So, Biju, my final question to you is, I don't think we can conclude any discussion without discussing about data privacy and challenges when we talk about Gen AI. I know we're all working towards that, struggling to kind of identify what is the best model to go ahead. So maybe a quick thought in terms of how can organizations strategize to protect their data on the new age digital platforms. Biju. So, I think you're on mute, Biju. If you can.
Sorry. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this topic comes under the governance framework, right? AI governance framework. Mainly, this has three pillars: legal, where you have this privacy, data governance topic comes in, where the second pillar is the ethical one, where you look at the transparency part. Third is the security, where you look for the safety of the product. So important thing is to build your AI on leading ethics and privacy standards. So there should be guiding principles and policies that steer the development and deployment of AI software. So there has to be implementation of data protection and privacy standards. So when you talk about security, it is a shared responsibility between the application service provider and the customer and the hyperscaler. So from the application provider, there should be disaster recovery mechanisms, security infrastructure, operating systems, and all those things are very, very, very important. So if you have to build trust with our customers, then we need to have compliance mechanism in place, as you mentioned, right? The data privacy regulations like GDPR, CCPA, etc., has to be in place. Then we need to have independent audits, which mainly talk about security audits, which showcase your commitment to data protection. Then we have to also build transparency on how we use our data, and so that the end user understand how this data is used. Um, also a fair amount of education has to happen with the end user on the data privacy and the best practices, so that they are empowered to make informed choices. So these are some of the considerations, while we deal with data privacy and security from an organizational standpoint.
Cool. Perfect. I think it was a great discussion. Thank you all for sharing your viewpoints, thoughts. I want to extend my gratitude to each one of you folks, and I believe that this discussion will enable our audience to kind of incorporate some of this insight and take it forward. Before we close, I want to thank our audience for active participation. Your engagement has been integral to the success of this discussion. So let's all continue to explore, learn, and grow together. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Biddappa and Rajesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.